Is this seriously how you want to start our day? Yeah? Good morning, guys. Are you gonna let me make the bed? No. Okay, then let's go get some breakfast. Good morning. We're going to talk about some of the easier things that I'm eating right now. Some of the things that I just feel like are simple options, especially if you're somebody who's dealing with mental health issues, or you're like me and you just want to find a way to make eating healthy easy, consistent. Just want to get in what you need, and you want it to be as seamless as possible, as streamlined as possible, that you're just also maybe able to listen to your body. So these meals also just help me with that. They help me make it really simple. I will say that there was a while where I wasn't really into vegetables, which, as weird as that sounds, like, or as normal as it sounds, it just wasn't a thing. I was not enjoying them. I couldn't, like, if I was sitting down to eat at a restaurant and I was looking at the menu and I saw vegetables, I was not going to choose them. Like, I just kind of had a feeling I wasn't really into them. And some of that, a good chunk of that, I think for me was psychological. As I've been kind of doing the work this time with 75 Love and really allowing myself to heal and journal through it and kind of ask myself the questions about my relationship with food and everything that's kind of going on there, I've found spaces where I'm like, oh, that's why I was making those choices. So I'm happy that I'm more interested in them now and that I feel a little bit more drawn to them, because for a while it just wasn't a thing, and I needed to honor that for myself, especially as somebody who's gone through, you know, so many of like, you have to eat this. Like, I really wanted to get to a place where I was enjoying eating these things and I wanted to eat them and they tasted good and I kind of craved them, and it wasn't like in that space in my brain where the diet culture lives and the forcing of it lives. Okay, let's pick jewelry really quickly because the lights in the tower are out and I need to pull them out and charge them a little bit later. But what do I want to wear today? I don't plan on too much. I think we're just going to kind of put everything together, but I do love being able to see this all organized, and I kind of want to wear these again. I just love this specific earring. It really has the most delicate detail. I don't know if we're getting the best lighting to show you because this light is real bright. So hold on, let's see if we can fix that for you. So I think it comes in a couple of different colors, but I just love that little bit of shimmer in the ear, especially when you've got like a flash or something. It just kind of pops off. I really do like that. And then you're sitting on my ring case at the moment because that's living there, but let's see if you want to do anything different as the vibe for today. I have a few rings. You know what? Maybe we'll just go with the big cocktail one for fun and keep it kind of simple today. I'm going to go to the gym, so I know that I'm not going to want tons of layers, but at the same time, we're just going to do a non-stack day. I do need to fix that up. I really want to get more rings. That's just, it's on the list. We're thinking about it. We're keeping it there. It's percolating. I've got quite a few in the cart on Amazon that I am very excited about, and we're going to put this back in the camera. But oh, we need a lip combo. Just to say we try the different things in my collection. Can we see that I'm already kind of like sweating a little bit? Any pinky nude? Oh, hold please. I either need to get a facial or need to take some time to dermaplane, because what is this really long dark hair? And then I'm still obsessed with the Dior Cherry Oil. Like, that's been one of my favorites for years. I'm sure that this color has mutated a little bit because it's gone over so many lip glosses, but it is just the nice, like, light pink, and I love it. I honestly, I know it was a big trend for a minute, and it definitely falls in the things that, like, This lip oil, this highlighter blush palette were really popular for a while. They were kind of trending, and they're honestly still my favorite. I've seen a few professional makeup artists who will even do kind of wedding looks from this and use the eyeshadow from it. This is one of those that it gives a lot of options. You can play with it in a lot of ways. So like this right here, 100% worth it for me. And then I used the color Completely Sepia from Makeup Forever today. There was normally some kind of pinky. This is a little bit more brown, but it does just give the lightest bit of pink. This gives a light bit of pink without it being too much pink. So if you're not wanting it to be more fuchsia or more bright, you're just wanting like a little bit of a light glow, this is a really great one, especially if you're having like a beach day and you just want something on your lips that's got a little bit of color. I love these more than any of the other ones, especially all of the tube bombs, because I just get really annoyed when I have to find a way to like push it up. Like I don't have to fight my lip balm every single time I need to use it, and at least with this wand I don't have to worry about that. I'm never having to worry about getting too much product, getting too little product. This is much easier for on the go. So big fan. I think there are dupes of it. I haven't tried it. I've just been using this one forever and I love her. I need the air fryer for lunch, but I have your Galentine's Day card.
Oh, nice.
But it's too fat to put in the mail.
How pretty is that?
Matcha. I cannot live without milk. There are so many different like additives and hidden things, and we can talk about natural flavors later, but using this, ooh, raspberry. I really want to buy, we need to buy, whenever they have the advent calendar of these, because then we have minis for travel. But then also, I think there's like a set where you can buy a bunch of minis online. I think that's just nice, because then you want to switch up your matcha flavor. I need the hot water to mix in, and then let me see the size. That's fine. Can be too much if you don't have the fryer for it. Like this is what I figured out this weekend. Oh, you haven't opened this yet, have you? Oh, okay. Well, sorry, I'm christening your.
That's okay.
Christening your ball and for you. And then this matcha powder is really strong, so if you're using it, it's worth measuring. It does make a difference if you have too much matcha powder. So I'm gonna do 1 teaspoon for each of us. I like it sweet. Are you okay with that? 3.5 of monk fruit / stevia. I'm going to take whichever Bon Maman flavor you have on hand or whatever reserve, and I like to do, I drag a few and then leave a tiny dollop at the bottom. You can save that for ice tax.
Perfect.
And then I don't want to waste matcha, so I'm going to take the milk and kind of swirl it in here. Kind of get that out. Do we have straws?
Yes.
And then it's just like coffee. You can kind of go to your desired coloring. I normally use which is from Chroma that has collagen and other things in it, and so it tends to make it a little bit more darker because it's a little bit more earthy, but in this case they're nice and green. Ooh, she might need to be a little bit sweeter. Yeah, I think stevia is sweeter, which is probably why I prefer it. I can live with that, but it's better with monk or with stevia. So, sorry I told you buy monk fruit.
That's okay.
So I've been making some variation of this Cava bowl for the last few weeks, and honestly, it has been the thing that's gotten me back into salads. It's also absolutely one of the easiest things to make, and of course, that is kind of the vibe of today's video. So I like to do this a few different ways. Normally, in the most simplest sense of it, I will use the chopper to cut up my cucumbers. That's like always available. I don't mind chopping up a small cucumber. I tend to like mentally track how many pieces of things that I need to cut in order to make a meal. And the more ingredients that I have to be really hands-on and the longer it's going to take, the more I'm like tapped out. So any meal that we're making today has a 10 to 15 minute max. Some of that's cook time, but also some of that's just like how much time is it actually going to require and how many steps is the chopping. So we use the chopper today to kind of navigate this. I know I've posted content before kind of talking about lectins. I still try to maintain kind of monitoring that amount in my diet just because I want to make sure that as I'm healing myself that I'm getting the mineral absorption that I need and that I'm not overly blocking the minerals that I need to absorb in my body. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, I will leave the link down below for the plant paradox. It's quite an interesting thing to learn about, and just how the ways that our bodies interact with the things that we are and aren't absorbing, and like our impact on that. So normally if I'm making cucumbers for myself, I will peel them and I will de-seed them just to kind of bring that lectin content down. We didn't have that option today, and it's not the biggest deal in the world for me. I'm trying to prioritize normally in my brain quality, and then I will go into how do I make this a little bit more appropriate for helping my body absorb the most things, and we assess from there. But sometimes you'll see it's not always about having organic and making it the most perfect. Sometimes it just needs to be nutrient dense and in your body. So I just don't buy carrots anymore unless they are the shredded kind. I'll keep some on hand, but essentially if I'm just feeding me, I'm only going to eat them in so many meals. I'm only going to make so many meals. Like, it just gets more use and consistently for me, but also again, it's a step that's less required. The big things for me with this recipe is I love the falafels. I use them every time I make this recipe. I'll pop like 3 in the air fryer, and they're my favorite. More so because I just know that if I'm making falafels, I'm not about to sit here and make a big batch of them. It's more time consuming. It's something that I really enjoy, but I found that this is the easiest way, and it's perfect for this Cava style bowl. So we're doing a base of greens. Normally I do a mixed greens or a spinach, pickled onion to kind of add that little bit of crisp in there. If I had the pickled cucumbers, I would do those. Sometimes I will do like actual pickles, depends on the vibe. We're just going with regular cucumber today. We're adding the falafels. I will change the protein based on A, my energy levels, B, what's available, C, just whatever is the easiest and flowiest and most functional at the time, or also balances what else I'm eating. Salmon was the choice for today, and I will normally start it at, I think we did like 8 minutes in the air fryer at like 375, 10 minutes, and then I kind of bump it up. I always measure my meat based on a meat thermometer. I was plant-based for several years, and I just don't like to test that. Like, that is a fear for me. And I also find that it's easier to maintain the moisture and the quality of whatever protein you're using if you're measuring the temperature with a meat thermometer.
So I'm getting ready to do our meal, our last meal for this vlog. And I wanted to take a second to kind of do a mini chat, even though this vlog is probably already going to be a little bit long, because for this specific meal, but also just in general, when my mental health is in a space of just, I feel really unmotivated. I feel like I don't have the energy or the mental space to take care of myself. I know that depression shows up for all of us in a lot of different ways. I don't want a disclaimer that my experience with lower points in my mental health is the same as other people's. I want to kind of explain it from my point. But one of the things that I notice, especially in the last 5 years, I've noticed even more, is that I find myself looking for ways to really elevate my dopamine. I'm looking for more sugary ways to kind of navigate stuff. My subconscious and my body are really trying to get me back to that like normal kind of middle ground for myself. And so I find that that can change my taste buds. I find that the tendency to want to eat healthier, to even want to eat some of these meals, may not even sound appealing to some degree because your taste buds just aren't there. Like, your body is craving these things that are going to like hit the dopamine to kind of help you navigate whatever your brain chemistry is at the time. Typically that's mine. And sometimes that's made even worse by the ways that we're already kind of set up for these dopamine spikes throughout the day. So that being said, I'm planning on making the Kevin's chicken for lunch today, the orange chicken, because it's simple. We're going to do maybe a rice packet and like a cauliflower rice or broccoli rice. I'll show you that in a second. And then I'm going to do some Brussels sprouts that I got. And one of the things that I find helpful, especially if I'm trying to help, like intentionally help shift my body back into a more balanced meals, is that I'm using the sauces that kind of give me a little bit of that sameness and that help me kind of get back to the space of like, okay, now I don't feel like I'm craving as much sugar. So how can I take myself from this really high point where maybe I've had more like things with refined sugar, more things with fructose, and I'm like trying to kind of slowly weave myself back down to the middle ground of things. So I might swap out the chocolate that I'm eating. I might make sure that I'm intentionally eating like a more paleo based or more coconut sugar based or less like of that like pure high sugar stuff. And I kind of drop myself back down to a place where my taste buds palette is a bit more expansive versus like when you're in that top tier and you really need those high levels of sugar and things to kind of hit the craving. So we're gonna use the Brussels sprouts today. We're gonna try out a new barbecue sauce, a new like Japanese kind of barbecue sauce. It's got coconut aminos in it, and that I think is one of the things that kind of helps me. Is I really try to be mindful of, I might not feel like this stuff tastes good, because for a lot of last year when my brain was not in the best space, I really felt most drawn to eating just like proteins and carbs. And I can tell that my body isn't actually suited for that, but the way that I was just kind of going through life and how I was balancing and the ways that I was kind of navigating it, that's what I was drawn to, that's what I was craving. So sometimes for me, and maybe this is the case for you and it's something worth trying, I have to like teeter myself back into the category of even wanting to eat other things that aren't just junks and sweet. And sometimes that comes from like stuff that I'm just like treating myself crappy because I'm having bad mental thoughts and that's changing my actions. And then sometimes it's literally just tricking myself into kind of getting out of the spiral because I'm stuck on the hamster wheel and I need help to get out of it. And little things like that, and making sure that the sauces can kind of give me the sugar for the things that I need, or give me a little bit of it to kind of get me back to the space of like, oh, okay, I'm a little bit more neutral with what I'm eating. Does that make sense? Not me, because what I thought I was gonna make is not what we're making, because it's not in the fridge anymore. I always keep some variation of rice in the pantry. I like these because they're a smaller portion. You also have this pouch, but this is pretty much how I do rice because I try not to eat the same meal all the time, and as one person, it's easy to find yourself eating the same thing repeatedly if you're not mindful about how you're prepping your portions. And this is a great option if you just cannot be bothered. Like, this is a nice small portion of Brussels sprouts, and I know that the last couple times I bought them, I just have looked at them and thought, you feel like too much work. So we're gonna keep it simple. I'm gonna put these in the air fryer with a little bit of coconut oil, some salt and pepper, and that way I can sauce balance appropriately, but it'll still let them roast. And we'll put them in maybe 8 to 10 minutes at 400. And then because what I was planning on making is gone, we're going to use the sauce. I love to keep these on hand. I just find that they're so helpful because they don't have a lot of things that really irritate my stomach, especially somebody who really does her best when she's gluten and dairy free. And they come in all of the different versions. Kevin's is one of my favorite brands in general. So I pulled out this skirt steak to use. I wasn't really sure, but we're gonna kind of get with the vibes, and I might go ahead and just slice it up. Let's see. It gives you instructions on the back. Cook steak 2 to 4 minutes on each side. Turn to low, simmer steak and sauce for 1 minute. So maybe, you know, maybe we'll just let her live her best life, or we'll chop her in half and kind of make it a vibe. But this is a really easy thing to do, and the sauce, just chef's kiss with it. So let's chuck this all together. We can microwave some rice, we can throw these in the air fryer, and then all we have to do is heat up the stove and just cook this until it's our preferred temperature. Is messy, but it is tasty, and there we go, we have lunch. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video wherever you are. I have sauce on my hands. I'm gonna go eat this food. I love you guys. It is a good day to have a good day. Subscribe if you want more videos like this. I am trying to upload every single week, and I will see you all in a new video very, very soon.